Hello everybody, and welcome to the Rodea the Sky Soldier playthrough. You weren't expecting this one. Because yes, this is a surprisingly recent game. I mean, considering most of the time I do games that have been out for at least a few years, but Rodea came out in November 2015, so this is very recent in comparison to what I normally do. But there's a very specific reason for that, which I will go into as soon as this opening cutscene is finished, because you kind of need to understand roughly what's going on at the minute.
Princess Cecilia!
So yes, Rodea, who's the character we're playing, is kind of trying to save Princess Cecilia. Don't think it's quite going to go entirely to plan, but we shall see how it goes. So, Rodea, at least the Wii version, is developed by Prope, headed by Yuji Naka, who you should recognise as the guy behind Sonic the Hedgehog and Nights into Dreams. Very important with the Nights connection, because obviously I just finished a Nights into Dreams playthrough, but also Rodea borrows quite a few of the ideas of Nights in terms of flight. That's the important kind of key word, really. There are two other versions of Rodea the Sky Soldier on the Wii U and the 3DS, and they are developed by Kadokawa Games, because Kadokawa was the publisher of the game in Japan, and there's a whole complicated development process for the game, which, once again, we'll go into at a later point. Worldwide, the game is published by NIS America, and basically, I think, while there is perhaps one major flaw that NIS have made in the distribution of Rodea, maybe two, definitely two, I would say that if you want to direct any ire towards anyone in relation to how Rodea has turned out, I would direct it at Kadokawa Games. Or Kadokawa Shoten, whichever one you prefer. Just Kadokawa in general, really. Because it's their incompetence that has led to the situation that this game has ended up in. But more on that later. To begin with, this is the tutorial of Rodea, just kind of getting you to grips with how the game plays. Because while you can just run around using the control pads, that's not how the game is really envisioned to be happening, because this is Rodea the Sky Soldier, so you're flying. That is the key. So what you do is you point the remote at a particular target, press the B button, as Rodea says, and swing, and you'll fly, and it's really intuitive. It's a brilliantly clever control scheme, and one that I think really does make excellent use of the Wiimote. It's not overly tacky, as quite a lot of the motion-controlled games were of the time, and I think had the game come out in 2011 as was originally planned, it would have been really, really well received, or at least far better received than it has been in the grand scheme of things. Because this is a very intuitive, very clever use of the Wiimote motion controls, and it really could have been a kind of crowning jewel in the Wii's crown. Little bit of a redundancy there, but you get the point. The gameplay of Rodea is good enough to kind of sell the Wii. Unfortunately, the Wii is now dead, so it doesn't need any more selling. So Rodea's kind of purpose is kind of gone now, which is really unfortunate. Because while I would, and most definitely have done, describe Rodea, well, specifically the Wii version, as a diamond in the rough, there is certainly a diamond here, even if there is quite a bit of roughage around it. But there we go, our tutorial is over. We found Princess Cecilia. Hopefully she's going to be okay, but she looks rather not well, shall we say.
Princess, please save your strength. I don't think they're gonna let us get away.
That may be, but you can still escape.
Huh? What are you saying? I'm not just gonna leave you here.
Please take this half. Unless left intact, the key of time will not work. We will escape this place, but not together.
But I don't want to be alone.
This is an order.
With all due respect, you know, I'm not some unfeeling robot. I have a heart like you. The heart that you gave me, Princess. I won't do it. I won't follow that order.
Thank you. But you are not so alone, Rodea. And I promise you, we will save Garuda together. Farewell, Rodea. Bye.
Cecilia! No. If this is a heart.
So yes, that rescue went incredibly well. But after just a quick kind of check of the options, there's very few options to mess around with. We're going to go straight into Chapter 1. Garuda the Sky Kingdom.
Mission begin.
And we're going to see kind of the first real level of Rodea after a bit more plot, because Rodea's kind of been out of it for, like, you know, 1,000 years or so. Kind of insane when you think about it.
Oh, are you still sleepy? Wait, do machines even get sleepy? My name is Ion. I'm a human. And you are? I wonder if your memory was erased. You were buried in the desert after all.
In the desert.
I found you and prepared you. Using my gut instinct.
Your gut.
Your right arm was especially trashed. I managed to repair most of it, so how does it feel? Rodea, we will save Garuda together.
Right. My name is Rodea.
And now we begin gameplay. And you're going to see kind of just how beautiful this game is in motion. I mean, look, it's so colourful. There's just so much fun to it. Now, as Ion, who's the name of the character that we've just met here, is explaining, that's a power wing that we just picked up. Basically, what it does is it powers up Rodea. The game works on a very arcadey style gameplay system. So Rodea has, like, to begin with, 2 hits before he will die. If you manage to get a power ring, that increases to 3 hits. If you manage to collect a little something else that we won't see for a little while, that increases to about 4 hits. There's checkpoints, and you just sort of saw there's bonus rooms and just all sorts. There's collectibles hidden all throughout the stages. I will point out this is going to be the only level in which I am going to collect every single legacy medal, because that's what they're called. Because considering the rarity of the Wii version, considering how it's been distributed, not that many people have made guides for Rodea the Sky Soldier Wii version. So I'm not 100% sure where all of the legacy medals are. There's one guide that I have seen, but it was kind of just like, as much as I love this game and think it deserves to be shown off kind of in its entirety as kind of well as possible, there are certain moments in the game which are arguably rather unfair, especially in relation to some of the legacy medals. So I felt I'd rather not try and get every single one, because it was just going to drive me insane otherwise. Especially considering I desperately wanted to get through the game with no deaths, or at least no deaths on camera. So it kinda meant that I couldn't really do much when it came to the legacy medal. So you're going to see all of them in this particular level. Basically every level has, I think, pretty much the same amount of legacy medals, and they've got a very similar setup of how you unlock them. There's 3 or 4 bronze medals located within a level, maybe 1 or 2 silver medals located within the level, and then the rest of the medals are located in these bonus rooms. So you'll always get at least, I think, 1 bronze medal in a bonus room. There will always be at least 1 silver medal in a bonus room, and the gold medals can only be gotten through bonus rooms, and they're generally the last bonus room that you will come across. So there's quite a lot to kind of get your head around, but the thing is, Rodea the Sky Soldier on the Wii is a very easy game to just kind of pick up and play, because it's very easy to just get your head around what's going on. Because I mean, like, if you just look at this, it all just sort of makes sense. It's just like, well, you fly and you charge, and it just works. Now, the Wii U version and the 3DS version of the game play very differently. They're kind of much slower, and I would say that they are a masterclass in misunderstanding a game's concept and idea. I will go into that more in 1 or 2 of the extras parts, because I am actually going to show off the Wii U version of the game, and I will use that as kind of the proof of it being a masterclass in misunderstanding a game's concept, because you will have seen the entirety of the way Rodea was meant to be, and then you will see what Kadakawa did to it. So that should be a nice kind of point of comparison. But that's the first the first level already done, which is kind of insane. Like, the levels all tend to sit around the roughly 10 minute mark. Some are slightly longer, some are slightly less, but it's nice and consistent on the whole. So I'm really happy with the way this game kind of is laid out on the whole. But as you can probably tell, it's very heavily influenced by anime. It's got a very anime, video gamey plot. I think the best way of describing it is very 90s. And I think due to the fact that the Wii version of the game is very colourful, because of the way it's got that arcadey style gameplay, I think this kind of 90s style narrative really works for the game. Like, it fits. And while it's not necessarily anything Oscar-worthy, it's still a very enjoyable, rather touching plot. So I'm down with that. What I won't praise is the slightly jarring shift between types of cutscenes. only seems to be the case in the Wii version, but I would probably put the blame on that on Kadokawa Games as well, because they dealt with the dub. So... no, it would have been NIS that dealt with the dub, but Kadokawa probably messed with things, and it's just ended up a little bit messy on the whole. NIS's English dub has some odd muffling around some of the voices, which you may have noticed already. That's not my recording software messing up, that's actually how the game sounds. So it's weird. But oh well.
Someone to save Garuda.
What?
Emperor Giardo. He's my enemy.
Rodea!
So there we go, we have Rodea's mission statement. He needs to save Garuda from Emperor Giardo. And Chapter 1 is complete. Don't expect to see too many A ranks, it's mostly going to be C's and B's, but let's move on to Chapter 2. Hell yeah!